Awesome.
So I believe that we are live on YouTube. So I will just introduce you. So good evening, everybody listening out there. This is the team here at Pillars Cloud Technologies, and we are honored to have Insika here as Power Platform professional who is here today. And by the title of this stream, you already know that it is the hands-on one, right? So we're going to be having like the hands-on demos. So if you were following us from the beginning, you will see that Sina Khan has been here. She has taken us through a lot of theoretical background on PL-900. She has also gone ahead to do a lot of demos on PL-900 as well. But we tried to see if Nsika will have time to be here with us. Amidst his busy schedule, he thought it wise to suspend a lot of things and spend some time here with us today. We are very grateful. The team here on
Thank
the
you so
background,
much.
which you may not be able to see on the live stream, but we have a host of
Yeah.
people here with
Thank
us.
you.
And I'll be handing over the mic to Nsika without wasting much time. So fingers crossed, and then let's see what happens within the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Thank you very much, Nsika. I'll be passing the mic to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joseph, our incredible MVP. And trust me, I count this an honor to be a part of the great work you're doing in the cloud space. My name is Nsikan Ikpe, and today I'll just be talking about what we can do with Power Apps. And I know we have had series of trainings so far, and I would just like us to have some hands-on, because that kind of gives you that confidence that what you're learning has an area for application. So we're just going to have something to try out, and I have prepared. In my previous, I have about two tenants, so I just got myself locked out in one of the tenants. I should have shown you a preview of the application. I want us to just try our hands on. And so imagine a teacher trying to fill in students' course and the subject, and it can be difficult. So we're trying to see how we can create a solution to help a teacher input students' course and also have an automatic backup when there is such input of data. So, Mr. Joseph, if you permit me, I'll just start the class. Thank you.
Yes, please. You may just share your screen
Thank
if
you
you
very
want to.
much.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
I'm
you.
about to do that. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so I'm sure we can see my screen now. And just to, by way of recapping what we've done so far, if you don't mind, anyone can just tell me what they know about Power Apps or what you've learned so far, so I know how to continue with us. You're free to speak. And this is the learning platform. We're all learners. And I'd like someone to just say something. What do you know about Power Apps? What have you guys done so far? And then we'll go ahead and start what we have for today. Yes, go ahead, Mercy. Yes, thank you. Thank you for bailing us out. Yeah, go
So,
ahead, Mercy.
oh, okay.
Hi, good evening. Good evening,
Good
Sika.
evening. Good evening,
Thank you
Mercy.
very much for making out time for us. We truly
You're
appreciate.
welcome.
So,
Welcome.
just to go straight to the question you asked, what I understand by Power App is rather a platform where we create um, modern-driven apps and Canvas apps,
Yeah,
and you can do some other things there like um, Power Automate, which is for workflows,
yeah.
Power Pages, and Power FX.
Thank you.
So that's what I
Thank you so
understand.
much. Yes, so it's a low code application where you can build some application. It can be Canvas, can be application from data, which is model driven application. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so someone else wanted to say something. Let me give you the opportunity. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Oh, you mentioned it already. I wanted to say it's a low
Okay,
code, no code platform.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So the first time I heard Power Apps, I heard low code, no code. I was so happy. But the reality is that you have to embrace the concept of facing challenges when it comes to code. Just like the full-time software developer sometimes gets into trouble trying to get their codes to run, and the code doesn't want to run, and you kind of push it to work, it doesn't want to work, it just stranded. So I'm just giving you that preview that, hey, don't mind that low code, no code. It's not really true. In reality, you do some coding, all right, but it's not that difficult. But embrace the fact that there are times you're going to try to make your formula to do what your mind is intending to do, and it's not going to do it. It's okay. There's that phase. You keep trying, you keep reviewing. In other words, I'm introducing you or reintroducing you to the lifestyle of troubleshooting. Let it be part of your second nature to embrace troubleshooting. All right. So I always love to tell my friends, my students, to always ensure you're in the right environment. If you're going to build anything, be in the right environment. And so here we have you can create an environment. Always avoid being on the default environment, okay? Because sometimes if you are on maybe Microsoft developers account, just make sure you're in the right environment. And environment is more like a container, like a house, like a building where you can have control over what you want to do, right? And so we can also go about the you can go ahead and set you go to admin center, all right? So for instance, I can go to admin center, and just in case you're wondering, how do I create a new environment just peculiar to myself? You ensure you sign in, hopefully. So I'm sorry, there is this kind of interference between the two tenants. So it's kind of trying to get me back on the previous one I mentioned. I had already built the applications, and I just wanted to show you, but I'm not with my phone for the MFA, which is something I did, and I'm happy I did it because, but then I'm also a partial victim of what I created. So I'm not with my second phone for the authentication. So I'm going to use a different tenant. So over here we have the new Power Platform Admin Center. If you're not so comfortable with the new one, you can always switch, all right, to the old one if in case, but they will ask you why you're doing that because they expect you to embrace new things. So I'm just going to go back to the new one, and then you go to manage is where you should have your environment. But in the previous one, the environment may be in a different okay, so you can choose the name, create an environment, and this is something you need to note too. If you are creating a new environment, take note of your region and also the type of environment. So we have the production environment, and once you hear production, that has to do with what you are more like a managed environment. All right. So if it's an enterprise where you push out applications for your users to make use of, so that's a production environment. That means you've left the testing phase of it. But it's always good to know your boundaries as regards your tenants. So for instance, my tenant is usually developers accounts, and I'm kind of restricting myself to stay on the developers level, all right? So where you can have your test your application before you push it out for production. So you stay on the developers and then give your environment the purpose if it's going to be for training, and just look at the difference. If I stay on production, I have the ability to select add a database data store, and that has database is simply your it's a data management platform where you can on the cloud where you can manage your data and do all of that. So it's more like the one of the largest pool of data management system. So if you can see all of these pay as you go with Azure. But if I go back to, I'm telling Microsoft, no, I'm just a developer for testing. You see all of this will be up. So just to let you know about that. So we'll go back to what we have for today. Just want to make sure I mention to you to remain in your environment. So we're going to be building a simple application, and it's just see, you've been learning about the, the theoretical and probably a few things, you've tried a few things out, but we're just going to see, okay, let's see how this Power Apps works. What can we do? What are the controls? How can we put this into action? So we're going to build something very simple. Excuse me. Okay, so let's get this done. So we're going to build what I call a score sheet application. So you're going to assume the position of a teacher that wants to make things easy for himself and maybe your colleagues too. So I always love to have it in form of a solution rather than just come here and create an application. But I want to have a container where I can, it's more like if most people that do with Azure, you have something they call resource group. So I just kind of have, I love to have my stuff in a solution box where I can decide to delete everything. You can also decide to export your solution. All right, so I'll just create a solution. I'll call my solution. I'll call it, let me call this, I'm trying to see. Joseph, please, can you remind me your training center's name, if you don't mind?
Okay, Pillars Cloud Technology.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Pillars Cloud. Yeah. Okay, so I'll leave it there. And they're gonna ask me publisher. So publisher is who is responsible for this at the moment, and then also publisher helps you to sort out your your fields. So by field, depending on if you're going to use database as your data source, so you have tables, columns, and rows. So if you want to make it easy for yourself to sort things out quickly, just have a new publisher. So I'm just going to say Pillars Cloud. Did I get that correct? So I'm just a PC. Oh, let's see. Let me get that correct. I want to. Okay, it's Pillars Cloud. So I'll
You
just
can
call
just
it.
shut my PCT.
Yeah, Pillars Cloud. Yeah, but I always like to have my name together and then just call it PC. Pillars Cloud Publishing. Let me just use this. You can PC. All right. So this is what you can see what I just did. If I decide to put it Pillars Cloud, it's going to be too much. So I just want to put it PC. Hopefully, I didn't have that already in existence. So that once I just type PC, everything that is within that publisher's control will come out. And okay, so now I have my, okay, awesome. So I have this. So I can decide to select other ones. I have a lot of them. So I just stick to this Pillar Cloud, and then what do? We can leave all of this and just go ahead and create our solution. So we have an environment and we have a solution. All right. In our subsequent classes, we'll talk about the security aspect. I don't know if that was touched because it's also important. You wouldn't want to just create and build a house where there are no security measures, so that you can have control and all of that. So you can see my solution is empty. There are a lot of things I can do on this. You can see the navigation. This is it. You can have history, pipelines, source control. So you can see we have, let me get back to solution. Sorry. Pillars Cloud. I'm opening my solution. So what do we want to do first? I would like to have data source. So I just want to have a data source from, so you have many ways you can. So when I mean data source, everything you're going to do, what you are seeing on the screen is what the users will be interfacing with you. Try to build an application, and I want to build the Canvas application. That way you have control over the user experience and the UI and UX experience. So you have the UI and the UX, user interface and experience. You can design it to your test, how you want it to look like, depending on your users' preferences. But for the model driven, you can hear the word model driven. It means the data is built upon a data, an already existing data. So the data will kind of determine how the application looks like. Okay. So I want us to create an application, but a Canvas application. Let's use the phone. Let's call our application score sheet. A score sheet. So I wouldn't like to put apps anymore because it's already an application. So I'll just call it score sheet. It's loading. So just in case you're like, oh, I want to change that name. I don't like the name score sheet. You can come to this place. You come to settings, and you have your name. You can change the name. It's okay. Let me call it sheet score, depending on what you want. So I'll go back to score sheet. All right. So you can also have can decide to play around. Score sheet has to do with education. So you kind of look for icon that represents what you are doing. And if you don't have one, you can always create. You can always add an image that represents your application. Okay. So for now, let me see if I can have anything like education. Okay. Let me see, learn. I'm looking for what can represent. So, but for now, I'm just going to leave it blank. Okay. Or let's just leave it at library kind of book, since that's still with school. So you can also decide to change the color. If you're someone that prefers using code for your colors, color coding, that's fine. I'll just leave it at, let me use this color. Okay, so it's on autosave. If you decide to be, we want to be the one to do the saving. If we want your application to be saving itself on auto, you can do that, but I just like to leave it there and you just close it. The other things you can do, but I'm not going to go much into that. So we have our applications name here. So this is the navigation. You have the tree view. The tree view gives you the component, the controls on your application. So for now, what do you think we have? Just a screen. So what is here? An application. Okay, what's that? The first thing I have is the screen. So you can decide to increase your screen by clicking here, or you come here and duplicate the screen. It's more like saying, hey, I'm a lazy guy. I don't want to just be moving around. I just want to stay here and do stuff. So you can just come here and let's call this the score screen. Okay, the score screen. You call this one. You can name this. So there are various ways you can do it. For instance, if you are here, you can come to properties. Come to properties and you click on this. This is what happened now. See, this is what I'm going to show you now. Click on this and then you come here. You can name it from here. So let's call it. So usually in Power Apps, you can decide to your naming. There's a right word for it, conventions. All right, depends on what works for you and your organizations. So you are being trained, not just someone that will be having an application for himself in his house. All right, but you're being trained to be someone that's going to be administering these applications to the public. So, and you're going to work with other team members. So you're trying to make things easy for people. So I always try to make it this way. Okay, so I call it screen home. All right, so let's come back to this one. Can put this and then kind of make it easy, and then screen score. All right, so that kind of helps you understand even if you didn't know the icon, what the icon represents, once you see SCREN, it kind of gives you, oh, this is screen. All right. So these are controls. Another one we can have, you can insert controls here. So let me continue from here. So this is a tree view. Tree view gives you what's, like a tree. You have the roots, you have people that know this biology and all of that. So I'm not going to go into that details. You have the leaf, the branches, the leaf, the fruit, and all of that. So it kind of gives you the segmentation, all right, how everything kind of goes down to the root. So you have that. So this is inserting. What do you want to insert? Controls. What are the controls you can have? The input controls, it has, so input controls has to do with what you do to create an effect, all right. Then we also have the display control, all right, and then we also have the layout control. How do you want your application to look? We also have the media control. What kind of thing do you want to put in your, or you want to bring into your application? You can bring in audio, can bring in video files. All right. So if I click on this video, something's going to happen here, and I may be asked to, okay, what's the source of the video? All right. And I have to make a program to go bring a video into my application. So there's a lot of things you can do in Power Apps. So I'm going to leave that. Then you come to icon. There are a lot of things, like I said, you can decide to bring in a map, all right, into your application, depending on the functions. So you'll be asked for the source, your map. Is it going to be something you're going to use what they call custom connectors? It's already asking me for a lot of details. I'm saying, please, that's not what I want. I was just trying to explain things. All right, so we're going to try a lot of things out just to let you know there's so much you can do with Power Apps. There are icons, the kinds of icon you want to bring in. You can even bring in a user, all right, user icon. Then you have the shapes, charts, AI builder, mixed reality. Guys, there is so much we can do in this. But like I said, everything begins with a step, single step. So you now come to data. This has to do with your source. Where do you want to have your storage? All right. So you have your money, you're trying to bring in different currencies like the application. So where do you want to save your money? What bank do you want to choose? It's like, I want to choose Guaranteed Trust Bank. Okay, so go and choose your bank. You kind of add where you want everything. So you want to have, it's more like a back end. So this is more like the front end, but you want to have a back end data storage center. So you can choose from different structures here. Or if you want to create a table and then have that table in database, all right? The table has to do with columns and rows. Or even if you want to create a table, you can create a table and even use AI to create a table. But I'm not going to do that. I would like to, I don't know if we have talked about SharePoint. Mr. Joseph, do you mind confirming with me if they've learned a bit about SharePoint lists and all of that?
Yeah, we have a basic understanding of SharePoint.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to, if you permit me, I'll just quickly go to SharePoint and we'll just create something together. All right, this is us working together. And please forgive me if I'm too fast, slow me down. But I'm going to repeat this. Like I said, I love to do my training. I'm someone that learns by repetition. I'm not, there's some people that are people like Joseph, the guy's brain is something else. So, but I have a different way of learning things. I kind of take things gradually. I repeat it to myself. I keep on doing it. So you can go to a site. I'm going to use an existing site just to ensure I'm in the right tenant. I'll confirm. Okay. I'm going to use, let me just come to the IT. Okay. So yeah, just allowing things to load. Okay. So you can see in new, I want to create a list. All right. So SharePoint list kind of does what Excel does. I think about 60% of what Excel does, you can do the SharePoint list. So let's create it from the scratch. I'm going to call this a score sheet. Don't mind the way I group everything together. I think I'll talk about why I do that. But I don't talk about it today. We'll talk about it next time. So I'm creating my, so I've given it a name. Okay. Show list inside. Something went wrong. Could not complete this action. Something went wrong. Okay. I'm just wondering why you're saying something went wrong. I'm trying to create it. So like I said, you have to get used to challenges and then troubleshoot things. So we have a list here. Remember how you want to go to the market, and I grew up in a place where people don't just go to the market to buy things. They have to create a list. All right. So I'll create my list. What do I want to achieve? Because I'm going to go to the market now. The market is more like the power apps. So I want to create a list of what I want. So the first thing is we have types of list, types of columns you can create. Text, choice. Is it a kind of yes or no kind of column I want to create? Is it dates? Is it multiple lines of text like essay? Or is it about just someone within the application or within my organization or tenant? Or is it a number sort of? So there are various things. Is it a lookup? Do I want to link it to another source? So I've just said plain text. So in a score sheet, what do you think we usually have in a score sheet? There should be student's name. What do you think will come first? Is it the name of the student? I think the subject. So it depends on, for the university, and I think I'm training a couple of grown-ups, so they use the word course. Do you guys prefer course or subject? What do you think we should use? Like I said, this is a communication platform, so I kind of
Course.
gives
I
you
think
the
course is
course
better. Subject
better,
sound
right?
like secondary school.
Secondary school, thank you. So I'm just going to say the subjects on which we are scoring. So I'm still back with my subject. So I'm sorry if it feels, I'm not trying to take you back to secondary school. So the subject usually take one single line of text. I mean, communication arts, maybe Microsoft Power Apps, it could be a subject IT. So I'm not going to give it multiple line of text. I don't want to waste that. You can come here and decide, okay, how many characters do you think? Well, just in case there's no harm. Oh, I'm even told this is single line text. The maximum is 255. There's something about 255. Something about 255 in computer and 255. We'll talk about that some other time. So is it going to be a required field? I am just going to make it a required field for now. All right, but you can choose to make things simple depending on what you are looking for. So what value should we have? I don't want any default value, so I'm just going to create that the subject. So there are a lot of things you can do depending on your need. Go on, create another one. After subject, we should have, I think we should have the student's name. So if your students are within the organization, so you don't want to mix up people's name, and so you're trying to like, okay, I want people's name to be written out the way it is in the system. So you can choose person. So this person means if you go to where you're supposed to choose a name, you have list of names. So you just pick it out. And that way you're kind of picking every attribute to that person. But we're not going to do that. I'm going to assume it's a general, it's a kind of a SharePoint list where people can come in from different places and just have to input their names. It's not organizational, it's not enterprise restricted. So I'm just going to use text, call it name of student, student's name. Let me make it easy for someone, just in case someone comes and is trying to use. So whatever you're doing, make sure you are doing it with the mindset that you're not just alone. It's not just about you. There are other people that are going to be working with you. So we'll kind of leave description just because of time. I'm going to move on. And so next thing we should have is score. The score has to do with number, all right? It's a number. So score, So this call, then asking number of decimal places 0. It's just going to be a whole number. Okay, going to be a whole number. After name, student's name, score. So we'll also want to have the date it was marked. Okay, when was it marked? Date, score. How do I put it? Date. Graded. Graded dates. Let me use that word. I just want a date, not just date and time. So include time. No, I don't want to include time, just date. Default should be today, so they can always select. Okay, so we have this already in existence. Remember, it's on IT, so just kind of know where you are. You can, if you want to copy your link, you can copy the link. And so let's move back to our Power Apps. So I want to add my data. Remember what I told you, these are variables. This want to search for anything, and then media you want to extend. So this is, you add your data, and they're asking me where is your data. I'm saying, okay, let's connect connector, and it's going to say connector. Where is, what of the connector? What kind of connector? I say SharePoint. So this is SharePoint. I choose the, if I didn't sign in, it will ask me to sign in. So I can choose to put the URL. Oh, that wasn't, so let's leave it. Let's just, I'm supposed to connect to SharePoint. Okay, thank you. I was wondering what's happening. So this is our list. You see, everything is kind of connected together. That's what M365 is. So I have my SharePoint, my data source. So the first thing I would like to do, yeah, I've got some good news for you. I'm sorry, guys, but we are going to continue this series. Trust me, this is just an introduction. Okay, my system, I forgot to bring my charger along. So the first thing I'd like to do is to go to my home screen, customize my home screen. So how you customize things, if you want to have maybe the title of your application, it depends on how you want your application to look like. So you come to text. Remember, this is input, display. All right, display has to do with what you want people to see. I can come to display, or if I don't know which category it belongs, it's more like the category of your input. You can just come here and say, okay, input label. You just say text label. If you go to the market to buy stuff, you have a label. Label is what kind of gives you, what tells you what the stuff is all about. So you come here, and then you remember this is a property. All right, if you want to make comments on the application, just in case another person wants to know what's going on, you can always add some comments. So I come here, just like your usual Microsoft Word, you can align your text. You're going to see the changes there. Sorry, I kind of, my changes here, align it. So this other side, all right, so I'm going to put at the center. You can name your, whatever you want to put there, or you can come here and do it here, but just so you don't mess things up, just come to the property location and then just call it score. Or I can just say, okay, welcome to students score sheet. Okay, I can decide to put application apps. Yeah, and then if I want to, so you're just going to see something will change. Yeah, that kind of updated. And then if I want to increase the font, the font size, all right, if I want to increase the font size, I can increase the font size, call it 30. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's too much. So I'm going to call it 26. That's still too much, 21. Let's go back to 21. Then you can do other things here. Your text color, you want it to be red. Okay, so you also like to have your, this is more like the background. So I like the background to be, let's see what happens. Okay, so once that is there, so your knowledge of colors combination and how you like things to be done will come into play. And I would like my app to fill up I don't want to have that empty a white background show, but it's your choice, whatever you want to have. And then we can also decide to bring in an image. I can go to stock, that's an online, and just say education. Sorry, let me pick this. It depends on what you want. Let me see, learn, just to filter. Okay, so I have this. This looks like someone that is trying to score. So I'm just going to use that. So that image looks like someone is trying to make score something. So some people can use their school logo depending on what you want. And I can also, you can duplicate instead of trying to create a new label. You can duplicate this, or you just come here and bring in another label and then kind of drag it down here. So, but I'm going to do something very simple. I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to bring in a button that will tell me, hey, once you have been welcome, so get into the next screen. So I'm going to use a button control. A button control is going to appear. I bring it down here. You can double click and name it here, or just come to this place and call it enter. So you are here, I'm welcoming you, enter. So my color should be able to blend with other things in the background. All right, that's very important. Make your app to be simple. So I'm going to use that black. So since I have something here already, it's just complement each other. So what happens to the enter? Let's give it a control. Once you select, so once you pick a control, this is a control. What should the control do? That's where you have the on select. These are the properties of the control. You talk about the field, the color field, it can change. Okay, so Mr. Joseph, with your permission, and I'm very sorry, but I'm also happy that we've done something. We just began something. I'm just going to save this, so just continue from where we stop. And I'm making a promise to you all that we are going to be in this trend together, riding in this trend till we become very, very good at these power apps, all right, building solution. So I'm happy to have come to this point. You've seen how I was able to create our data source, which is the SharePoint list, and then able to add the SharePoint list in our Power Apps domain where we're trying to build a Canvas Power Apps called score sheets, all right? And then I've just shown you how to name your screen, I mean your controls. So you have the home screen, you have the button. So like I said, there's a convention in your organization, just set to BTN to mean the button. What does the button do? You can call it enter. All right, so someone seeing BTN knows, okay, this button, and then the label. What's the label? You can just say, okay, the label should be, you can decide to call it LVL. What does it do? Header. All right, it depends on what you want. So there are two ways you can do it, here or over here. And then I want to try to take us to the next screen. So you come to on select. So that means once we select, you can just type on select. Once we select this, what should happen? That's what the on select means. Okay, so the on select means navigate. Just type navigate, and this thing is very intelligent. Once you type, it will kind of bring you up. So navigate to where? What's the target? The home screen. You can see I already have it here. So whatever you have here is going to come up. It's very smart guy. And then you say, okay, after navigating, what happened? How do you want to do it? Okay, let's just leave it there. I'll show you other things that do with transition. So let's play our app and see what happens. I'm here, I've been welcome, and I'm clicking enter. It should bring me to the, hold on, let me see this. I'm trying to rush to catch up. So, oh, sorry about that. I'm trying to bring myself back to the same screen. So it's score. It was supposed to be the score. Navigate to score. Let me do this. Navigate. Hold on. Okay, navigate to score, not home screen. We're already in the home screen. What's the score? Is score screen score? Okay, screen score. Thank you very much. So I'll just close that and save it. So let's play. Because I was wondering what's happening. So if I click enter, it brings me, whoa. All right,
Yeah.
guys. But I mean, I have this Nigerian spirit. Trust me, we don't give up.
Don't give up.
We don't give up. I'm happy I was able to bring that guy up till my laptop
Yeah.
says, "Hey, I die," and I'm like, "We're gonna die here together." So, but trust me, that was a way of me bringing that guy from the home screen to this cautious screen. So
Yeah.
you can do a lot. So that was just a navigation button I put in there. And there's so much we're going to do. There's so much we're going to do. All right. So thank you for your
So,
patience and your understanding.
it's not just about the teaching, right? So I'm sure that
Yeah.
everyone here, except those guys listening, from the other platform who may not know what is
Yeah.
actually going on. Nsika is extremely busy at the moment, and
Yeah.
this is in between a schedule for him, and he decided to take a very silent place within the environment where he is, just to make
Yeah.
sure that he shares knowledge with people. So if you are listening from YouTube, you are listening from Facebook, and you want to follow through with us, it's absolutely going to be open just as we did it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturdays, 4 p.m., we would have that
Yeah.
between 4 and 5 p.m. on
Yeah.
weekly basis till we become pro in this. So, Nsika,
Yeah.
thank you very much. We truly appreciate your efforts. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, my
thank you
boss.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Isika. It's going to be
Thank
an
Thank
you.
you.
interesting journey. I can see
Thank
already.
you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I
All right.
appreciate you all.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be ending the live stream now, guys. So just stay tuned and